Superman, the movie, the review. First, let's get something out the way. Cavill, Snyder, Corn Sweat, Gunn. Who's the best? What's the best? It's always going to be obviously compared together. Let me tell you first, and this is very, very important, you can't. You cannot compare the two. It's different. In all of the comic books that have existed, in the 75 years of Superman existing, I believe now 77 or something like that, he has many, 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 many different style, different iteration of the character. This one is straight out of a comic book. The Snyder one was a graphic novel. You know, it's visually different. The style is different. The things that Superman himself deals with is different. So I just wanted to get that out the way first because I think it's very important. Don't ask me if I prefer Cavill or Corn Sweat. It doesn't matter. I did love Corn Sweat. I loved Cavill. I will still watch the Snyder one and I will rewatch the Gunn one. It's just how it is. Now, about the movie. I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to hate it for quite some time. It's like, someone is playing Superman, living the dream, all of that stuff. But it's gonna be bad. I don't know, jealousy kind of stuff, I guess. But it's good. I can't lie. I mean, Gunn, if you liked Guardian of the Galaxy, there's one scene in there at some point. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's one scene. The whole movie is Gunn, right? But there's one scene where you're just like, oh my God, this is Guardian of the Galaxy. Like, you see the scene, you can take that scene, put that into Guardian of the Galaxy, and you're like, yeah, it's the same movie. So if you liked the style, the visual, how everything looks, how it feels from Guardian 1, 2, and 3, you will love this. If you hated it, I'm sorry, it's very similar. The thing is, they really did capture Superman, and when I say they, honestly, yes, the actors did, but mainly Gunn. He's the one who wrote it. He's the one behind the studio now. He's the one who directed the movie, and I believe he really did capture how I look at a comic book. Sometimes some people will ask me, why do you read comic books? It's just words and pictures. It's not how it happens in my head. When I read a comic book and when I go from one panel to the next and when I move into the story and how the movie starts is also like a panel. It's like a wide shot of something and words establishing where they are. It's very much a comic book panel. So when I read a comic book and I go from a panel to the next, I see what's happening. I mean, it's weird, but I can see in my head the character moving and how the stories unfold and how the visual unfolds. And this is that. There's a lot of moment in the movie where I was watching the movie, but I could see the reverse happening. I was watching the movie and I would see a panel and I would see the panel moving. It's weird. I understand that, but it's that. Corn Sweat did an amazing job. I had some regards on how, from the pictures that we saw in the past, how would the suit look? Would it look cheap? Would it look kind of unfitting for the character? No, absolutely not. It's great. You don't care about the undies. No one cares about it. It looks good. It looks like it fits in that world. We see more Superman than we see Clark Kent, by the way. So he is a good Clark Kent, but it's not at all a Clark Kent movie. It's more of a world around Clark Kent. So Olsen and Lois Lane. So we see his world around it and the people around who Clark Kent is, but it's not a Clark Kent movie. We have some scenes of Clark Kent, but it's not that. It's very much Superman. It's very much around Superman. And one thing I love that we didn't get into many other iterations of the character. And what I love about the comic books as well is he values life. He's a Superman that values life. He's a Superman that values people, things, animals. There's a great moment, many great moments, honestly, where he puts his life in danger. I mean, he can do that. It's not like his life is really in danger, but he still puts his life on the line for a very small being, an animal that most people don't care about, but he does, because that is a Superman that Gunn wanted to portray. So I did love that. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, great. He was very, very good. And it's very hard to be good in the setting that he had. If you take Corn Sweat, I mean, you put him in an epic suit, you have him fly around, you have him pose into different style and like lift out of stuff, and it just looks great, and the character is elevated by everything around his actions as well. But Nicholas Hoult, who plays again Lex Luthor, he's kind of confined in his office in a way where he works, kind of. And everything has to happen through his visual expressions, how he interacts with his earpiece, by the way, which I believe is probably he had the hardest job to do. He did great. I believed in his Lex trying to destroy, that's not a spoiler, it's just what Lex does, Superman, so I did believe in that. There are a couple things in there that I was just like, I don't know, The Jimmy thing, you'll know when you see it. If you've seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But the Jimmy Olsen thing, funny, but So it's funny. It works for the movie, the purpose of the movie. It does work, and everything around it works. But you're just like, how, why, why was that a choice for the movie? So yeah, so there was a Jimmy thing. His parents. There's a scene with his dad. Lovely scene. It's a good scene. But I think that, yes, he comes from Smallville. He comes from a little place where it's like farms and all of these stuff. But his parents were always kind of grandiose in a way, kind of portrayed as solid, bright, brilliant people. They had an alien in their life for 30 plus years. They know stuff. They lived through a bunch of things. They had to evolve. And they are very much portrayed in a simple kind of matter. There's a point where you see them struggle with technology. I don't care about that. That's fine. They're older. It's just a funny joke. Older people struggle with technology. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just that's funny. But other than that, the simple aspect of them, and at some point something happens and they just ask Lois, is he going to be okay? You lived with him for 30 plus years. You've seen him struggle. You've seen him do a bunch of weird, intense, crazy thing. The Martha that most iteration of Superman would have is like, he's going to be okay. She would be the one being like, I'm putting my step forward, my son is going to be okay. Not like, oh my God, what's happening? They know. So there's that with them that I did not, vibe with. Mr. Terrific, awesome, very, very great. I'm familiar in a way, but it's not like I read a bunch of comics from him. But I loved him. It was very central in the movie as well. A lot of people will say that he's more important to the movie that Superman is. Kind of agree. Guy Gardner, weird suit, cool suit, weird suit. I love his comic book version of suit. Maybe in the future he's going to go that way, but in comic book it kind of happens very fast. Yeah, Guy is funny. He's an asshole. He's Guy. It's what he does. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't really care about much stuff. He just does his Green Lantern things and has no fear. This is very much Guy. Lois and Clark together. So those two actors together. That was great. There's a point in the movie where you're like, where are we going? I'm not ready for it. It's for kids also, chill out. Again, that was good. There's many scenes with them that makes a lot of sense and are awesome. I did like the Lois that we have. One of the reasons being is that she matters in the movie. She's not just, the Superman +1, and she's not just like falling down buildings and being catched, which happens a lot in comics. She also matters in the story, and also she has to save the story. I'm just going to go with that as well. In the comic, that happens a lot, where Lois is the one saving Superman, being there in all of this. Anyway, I don't want to go too long on that. If you're not too sure about the movie, give it a chance. It's awesome. I'm going to watch it over and over again, as I do many of these superhero movies. Don't compare it. Just watch it. Just have fun with it, and see it as a comic book out of its pages. Does that make sense? I don't know. But see it like that, because that's what it is. Very fun, funny, very James Gunn. I'm hopeful for what's coming. Again, there are things with the characters, some characters that I'm not too sure about how they act and what they do. It makes sense into what they explain later, and when Gunn just like, oh, it's because he lived through whatever, and now this is why they're like that. I get it, but this is not how I've read about them. But again, 75 years of a character. We have to go some different ways some time to time. This is one. I would take any Superman movie. I'm very hopeful for what's coming. There's no defending the movie, which is good, because in the past, we had to defend a lot of DC stuff, and now I don't think anyone will have to defend the movie. It's just great. It goes, I believe, from great to good to I don't really care. But I don't think anyone will be like, it's shit, it's good. So go check it out and let me know in a comment if you've seen it, what you think about it. See you soon.